For the last 3 weeks, I've avoided a topic on this show for a reason. This podcast is not a platform to drag a dog in here on you. I never want to drag a dog in here on you, especially on a fucking Monday. But we got to get the elephant out of the fucking room between us. February 22nd, I got up that morning and I went to lift and I played with the baby, and then I took the baby to school, and then I went to lift, and I was going to Las Vegas with Kate, and we got to Burbank, and Kate flew out before me, and as I was sitting down on the fucking plane, I mean, the plane hadn't taken off yet, and people were still boarding. If you ever flown in and out of Burbank, they let you walk in through the back of the plane. So while most fucking momos are walking through the front, I just walk to the back of the plane and take a seat in the back, because when you get to Vegas, you're going to have to wait for luggage anyway, and it's always a fucking long walk, so who gives a fuck where you sit on a Southwest flight? So I sat down, and 2 minutes into that I sit down, the phone rings, and it's my brother Steve Simone, and he goes, "Did you hear the bad news?" And I go, "No," and he goes, "Brody was found this morning, hung himself." Guys, it was like a kick to the stomach on the plane. This couple I don't know, if you've ever been on a plane from Burbank to Vegas, they even wrote a movie about it, a TV show last year about Vegas. It's a crazy flight. The reason why it's so crazy is because people are excited. People are excited to go to fucking Vegas, and every time I get on one of those planes, like the one time the cops had to come on the plane and take 10 kids off, there's always drama on those flights. These are all these people that were ready to go, and here I am sitting in the edge seat crying, like bawling, and I'm trying to wipe the tears and make believe like I got something in my eyes, and I had to get up and go and get tissues from the thing, and I sat back down, and when I landed in Vegas, the phone fucking goes off. You had 6 messages, and every message was worse, and this was supposed to be an exciting night for me. I was on fucking the strip in Las Vegas, and in the car, all I'm thinking about is this fucking kid, and he killed himself, and he was just on the show a couple of weeks earlier, and he spoke about getting off the medication, and I didn't know how to feel, and then I got to the hotel, and Kate was crying because Kate was working with me that weekend, so I took Kate, and we ate dinner together, and I hung out with her as much as I could, and I had a job to do. I had a fucking job to do. I felt like shit, but I had a job to do. I don't know if you guys know this. I suffer from ear infections. I have to take a shower with earplugs in because the water gets in my ear, and then when I fly, I get infections and shit, so I got to put the fucking things in my ear. So Kate left, and the show was going to start at 8, and, when I go to Vegas, it's all about the shower. The shower is always huge in the fucking suite. I love taking a shower because you can sit down and think. And I took a couple hits off the vapor pen. I didn't smoke pot at all that day, by the way. I think I smoked in the morning. But before I took the baby to school, like when I get up in the morning, I always smoke. But I didn't smoke the rest of the day. I didn't even want to leave my hotel room. I felt so bad when I was in Vegas. So I hit the vapor pen. I put the plugs in my ear, and I went in the shower. And while I was in the shower and the water was hitting me and I was sitting there, I thought about Brody's last 10 minutes. Like, what the fuck was he doing? What was he thinking? What was he feeling? And all of a sudden, my heart started racing. I broke down a little bit emotionally in the shower. I started seeing him as a kid. I still remember having the conversation with him in Seattle about him moving to New York because obviously he was just distinctively different than everybody else. And New York would really accept him the way they accepted him, Mitch Hedberg, So I had this little breakdown. I got out of the shower. I wiped my face. And, I had a job to do, guys. I had a fucking job to do. So I put it in the back burner like I usually do with everything when it comes to that type of stuff, emotions. And I, did the show, and we tried to keep it together. We ate afterwards, her, myself, Brent, my instructor over at Subconscious. We ate some late night dinner. We hung out till 2. So I did what I did as a child when my mother died. I kept people around so the pain wouldn't be around. And I waited till I got nice and tired, and I asked him to leave, and then I went to sleep. And then the next morning I had to get up and get on the plane and rush. And so the whole time I was avoiding the pain. I was avoiding dealing with Brody's death. We went to Tucson, and my buddy showed up, Kent Vela, and the show was great, and the people were great, and the fucking food was great, and the tacos were great. So it wasn't until the next day, that Sunday, when I got off the plane, when I was fronted with it, and I spoke to Josh Wolf, and Josh Wolf was very close to Brody. I mean, it was Josh Wolf who introduced me to Brody, and I could hear it in his voice that it was a toll on him. Now, I could have gone on Twitter. You know, Twitter was fucking filled with Brody stuff. You couldn't even open it up. I tried opening it up that Saturday on my phone, because when I'm on the road, I don't take the computer I have, the iPad doesn't have Facebook on it or Twitter. I only have Twitter on my phone. I don't have no apps on my iPad, only writing and like HBO Go, Netflix, shit like that. And I have a writing app. That's all I want to do on the road. So when I did open up Twitter, I saw everybody was on there, and I live my life to fucking be different. I don't know about you guys. I don't want to be like everybody fucking else. You know what I'm saying? And I strive to do this every day. You know, I was telling Lee that when I went to my mother's funeral, I learned the people who cried the loudest didn't talk to me after my mother died. The people who didn't say shit were the people who came through after my mother died. So I learned who was bullshit and who was not. That's not a reason why I didn't tweet, because I didn't want to go there. You know, I just didn't want to go there. I got a couple emails from people and a couple tweets, you know, on my DM, and people going, you know, you haven't written nothing about Brody. What does that matter? What is that? What? Because I didn't write nothing doesn't mean I didn't love the kid. What have we fucking become? What have we fucking become? That if we don't have to, you know, show our solidarity, we don't care about this kid. I just didn't want to deal with it, guys. I didn't want to deal with it that in that level. I didn't even want to mention it on the podcast. I didn't want it in my Twitter feed. I didn't want it in my Facebook feed. I wanted to feel it in my heart. I didn't want to write anything down that I would regret later. That was number one. Number one, if you know anything about fucking death, especially the way it happened here. Listen, when Chris Cornell died, it bothered me. When people commit suicide, yes, if you have any empathy at all, it bothers me. This was my backyard. This was a friend of mine who sat across from me in his chair a month earlier and told us, as the church family, us, that he was fine and alive and kicking, and he was off the medication and blah, 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 blah. But that's not the point here. The point here is that there's different phases of grieving. There's the sad phase, then you get angry, and then you fucking get sad, and then you get frustrated. You know, all I kept thinking about was Brody's last 10 minutes. And until I figured out what he went through, what he felt like, those last 10 minutes, which I never know, and I'll never want to know. I'll never want to know what those last 10 minutes of your life feel like. When you're getting ready to do something like that, and your mind takes over everything and lies to you. Because as you could see, and as I know for a fucking fact now, there are people still walking around shell-shocked. Now tonight, I have to do something that I fucking hate doing. I have to go to the Comedy Store and get up in front of people and give some fucking speech about, you know, a story about Brody. Listen, man, this is so much in my backyard, and you guys know me, that when it comes to Brody right now, I don't have no fucking stories. Like, all I am is in search of why this kid would do this when they fucking loved him down there. They loved him at that Comedy Store. They loved him. He was part of the store. He was who, I mean, Mitzi made him. You know, Mitzi fucking put him on. He was one of those guys that, like Don Barris, you're a part of the fucking store. You will be a part forever. But again, nobody really knows nothing until you lose something. You know, tonight I got to go down there and I got to talk to him and I don't even know what the fuck to say. Like, I don't know what the fuck to say. I haven't processed his death yet. This is my weakness in life. You want to know what my weakness is? Death. Because every time somebody dies I'm close to, I drag the other 15 people that died through it. So right now, all I have in my mind is Darren Rago. I have my mother. I have Anthony Balzano on my mind. I have Dominic Speciale on my mind. I have all those shitty wakes I went to and couldn't figure out why this person is in a fucking casket. That's what I drag with me. I couldn't figure out at that early age in the 8th grade why this fucking 13-year-old kid that never did nothing to nobody was in a fucking casket. Then a year later, I had to look at my mother and think about why God would take away somebody's mother. Then a year later, I had to look at that same fucking casket again with my buddy Dominic Speciale in it. And that did something to me. That did something to me before the age of 18. It's like going to Vietnam and seeing somebody in your platoon dying. I mean, I didn't see Anthony get hit by a car. I wasn't there when Dominic drowned. You know, I was there to find my mother, but that's what happens. I drag all that shit. So for a few days, like right now, I can feel my blood pressure going up just talking about it. Because I drag all that shit. I drag Darren Rago in there. I drag this girl in high school that I just thought about today, that she was good friends with a friend of mine and shared a lock with me. She died my senior year in a car accident. She got trapped in between a fucking tree and a park. Who the fuck knows? But I think about all these people. That's why every Monday today, I fucking go to my, when I wake up in the morning on Mondays, like I did this morning, I'll go to the altar, my spirit altar, and I'll change the water, and I'll light a candle to give all those spirits light, just to let them know I'm thinking about it. And now Brody, we lost Marilyn Martinez. We lost Marilyn Martinez's husband. We lost Freddie Soto since I've been at the comedy store. It's a part of life, but this one hits a lot more. This one hurts and stings a lot more because it's the first time a friend of mine that close has taken his fucking life. And I've had other friends who have tried to take their life, but no. This one, it hurts. It bothers me. Like I said, I wanted to not put this on the podcast, but since we're doing the memorial today, I mean, they're closing the comedy store. They're going full boat tonight. I for days I thought about fucking mysteriously getting sick today because I didn't want to go down there and talk, but I have to. I'm at an age now that I have to stop thinking this way. I have to go down there. Like, I didn't go to Mitzi's. I didn't go to Ralphie's. When my buddy Jimmy Burkle died, I didn't go to his. There were reasons behind it. I could have gotten on a plane and gone to Burkle's and gone up there and talked. And I just don't like dealing with that type of shit. I still have Burkle's number in my phone. I still have Ralphie's number in my phone. I still have Brody's number in my phone. I don't like dealing with it. That's where my weakness is. When it comes to death, I dealt with enough. I'm not in the mood to fucking deal with it. If it's 2 in the afternoon and you ain't high, go fuck yourself. Get out of my face. I want you around me like I want cancer in my ball sack. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna come around here looking at me with your fucking wide eyes, thinking that I'm gonna reform. Go fuck yourself. My morning starts at 5:30 a.m. Either you're there or you're square. You know what I'm saying?